This is a Frank podcast.
The Warriors Live podcast 2025 episode 25. And we're live. We're back live and it is going absolutely as smooth as butter. Welcome back. We've got fucking logos all over our face. I haven't got the right templates up. We're all over the show, but thanks anyone that's joining. Drop your comments in. Brought to you by Kingz Container Crew, of course. TAB and Frank podcasts. Will, Brad, and Fonz back together again for the first time since Brisbane. Boys, how are you?
Good. How was Fonz sliding into home base just before we went live then?
Yeah, about
slid in home base,
ago.
dusted himself off, and now he's ready to do a pod. That was some crazy timing, Fonzie. How you been, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. You hear me all right? Everything sounding good?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. Yeah. Wow. Feels like a long time ago, doesn't it, Magic?
Oh, tell you what. Piecing our lives back together still, but yeah, getting back there.
Yeah. I know you boys did a pod last week, sort of giving it a rundown, but should I give my sort of 2-minute spiel?
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
I've lost you.
Oh, Fonzie.
We've got you.
Got your back. I've got someone back.
Yeah, carry on, mate. We can hear you.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, Magic Round. Yeah, look, for me, it was a real hit and run mission. So basically, I flew up on the Friday morning early, worked out of the Brizzy office, clocked off at 5 on the dot, shot across to Caxton, sat in a pub waiting for these boys to roll in, and Willard told me they'd been drinking all day. So I was just going up and getting bourbon and Coke and a beer and just inhaling the bourbon and Coke, drinking the beer, go get another two. So by the time those boys got there at 6 o'clock, I was on to drink 6, which I put back in about 45, 50 minutes. So I'd sort of caught up a little bit. And then we had a few more, headed over to the game, rolled out of the games back home. I remember I bought a shout for everyone, and I got back to the chair and you were all gone. everyone was just cooked. So then rolled home. I didn't last. I just gave them the people behind us. I think I didn't last much longer that night. Then we're up the next morning. Brad's cooking gourmet breakfast and Blokes are cracking beers at 8 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, we sort of hungover morning, start warming up, head into the Alfred, head out. And by the time we're coming home after the game, I reckon we probably had 25 drinks, I reckon. would be about the state of
it was a big day.
Big day. What people need to understand
Paced out, though, over a long period.
Well, yes and no. Because at the game, right, we were going, let's go get a tray, right? It's like, I'm like, oh yeah, so what? You, me, Brad will get a tray, and you're like, no, you get your tray, and I'll get my tray. So everyone's coming back to their seat with 4 beers or ciders, and then by half time they've drunk those 4 and they're going to get another tray. So like that was sort of the speed. So anyway, so then Saturday night ends in a fairly fairly miserable state, and then we're back up Sunday morning. Well, some of us are out of bed and some of us just didn't make it, and back to Magic Round. So for me, it was all over in this completely drunken blur. You know what I mean? Like it sort of felt like I was
at day 3, Fonz. We tapped out big time, me and Brad.
Yeah, but that's because I went way softer than you boys on the Friday and the Saturday, right? If I'd done what you boys did on Saturday night, there was no way I was getting there. So just all balances out. So yeah, it wasn't me, Brad, and Will spending a lot of quality time together. Let's say that. It was a
whirlwind.
It was a whirlwind. It was a whirlwind. Where it was raining beer and scotch, and everyone was just trying to survive. It was that was basically what it was. So
yeah, it was.
Oh, it was fun though. Shit,
Yeah,
the last night in the U, Saturday night, Fonz. After that big Saturday, I walked past. I was trying to find. I was like, "Where's he gone?" you had disappeared for a bit, and I walked past your bedroom. You were fully clothed, every light in your room on, asleep on the
Yeah.
bed.
Because
You had enough.
I'd had a little up and under, and I was just going to steady myself in there for a couple of minutes before getting back out and onto it. And then I just didn't steady. I just toppled over and fell asleep. And that was it. So
for the best too. In the end, for the best, you were able to drag yourself up and out that next night. You're right though. That was a whirlwind, wasn't it? I feel like I missed so much because it just seemed to happen. It all was over in 5 minutes. It was crazy. Yeah. There was always something on the go. It was a great weekend.
One tale I forgot, Brad, we forgot to mention last week, and it sort of ties back to you colliding with the window at our 40th year. But you tried to do the old accidental Paliacina through the fly screen, which took the piss out of you for 24 hours, and then I did exactly the same thing into the same fly screen the next night.
Got so many people. It was happening everywhere, just thumping into a fly screen at 100 mile an hour. It was out of. In the end, I was, because there was so many fucking sliding doors in that place. I was walking through them with my hands out in front of me, scared that something invisible was going to smack me in the face. Yeah, no, it was a hell of a pad.
So you've met the great Fonz in person, Brad. Impressions, emotions.
No, it was emotions. Great, cuddly bugger, big cuddly old Fonz. I tell you what was quite confronting though, Fonz, and I'm sorry if I stared a bit because Will had told me about it, but it's quite hard seeing the difference in length of your two legs in person. Yeah, so that was a little shock, and I do want to apologize for that. But it's one thing I think's rad. It's rad that they can put one of those rubber blocks on any shoe, though. Like it's so it doesn't really day to day.
And then my third leg's longer than both of those, so it's just
and he's getting up and down those stairs at Suncorp like nobody's business.
There's a bit going on, and do you know what I like? Is that Fonz, you finally got Fonz some merch. He got This Warrior's Life hoodie, and he put it on, and he said to me multiple times, this is the comfiest hoodie I've ever had in my life. Yeah. He was loving it. He actually ditched the hoodie he arrived in because it was
we were trying to get you to give it away to a fan, Fonz, and then I found it in the rubbish pile as I was cleaning up on Monday.
Just binned it.
No one wants it. No one wants it. I can see Timmy Gore in the comments as well. So when we walked into the Lord Alfred, so we got a cab in there, and I was nearly having to tell the cab driver to stop so I could spew. Right?
Oh, man, I didn't realize that.
That's how hungry you were.
That's how close I was to the edge. So when I arrived at the Lord Alfred, I'm looking at it going, if I'm going to make it through here, I need some bourbon and Coke now. So I had people coming up, like, who I normally love to just chat with, and I was avoiding eye contact, staying down, hoping no one recognized me or came my way, because I just needed to get like 600-700 ml of bourbon and Coke into me.
Just to center yourself.
Yeah, to reset, which I did. But I think Timmy came up to me just as I was at my worst. And I was like, oh, hey, man. And then I just dodged him and got to the bar. So if I didn't have a proper chat with you, Timmy, that's why, mate. I'd love to do it another time.
Timmy's saying looks like he was in about the same state after a big Friday. Meanwhile, me and Brad are just go, oh, yeah, there's Fonz over there. Go and say hi.
That's what was happening. We were directing them your way. Is Fonz here? Yeah, that's him.
I've gone over to Ruin Hammer, were waving at me and stuff, and I was head down. But then when I finally got my bourbon and Cokes, multiple, I went over to say hello to him. And I think Hammer's looking at me as I inhaled 2 bourbon and Cokes in about 6 minutes. Is this guy?
Tongue in for one. Fuck, he's thirsty.
But then it all went good from there. So yeah. Anyway,
straight and narrow. Yeah, hell of a weekend. Hell of a weekend. Jeez, I didn't get my voice back, Fonz, till Thursday.
Yeah,
just a couple of days. Yeah, it was. I was starting to wonder if I had done permanent damage. Jesus,
I was feeling pretty damaged on the plane home on Sunday night.
We had to do the Sunday. How many beers do you reckon you put away during the day? You watched the first 2 games?
I cut myself off at 4, I think.
Oh, yeah. So what time did you leave Suncorp in the end to head to the airport?
About 6. Yeah.
Did you really? Good effort, man.
But we probably did about a dozen, I reckon, through the day.
Sure.
And then I was on the plane with the Panthers too. So their stats guy was sitting right in front of me, cutting the stats up on the plane on the way back, and Nathan Cleary and all the players a few rows down. Just in economy, Ivan Cleary sitting, a few rows down, and literally next to me were Daryl Broman, and literally sitting in the seat next to me was Daryl Broman and Joshy Reynolds. I think they must do a radio show together. And so Broman fell asleep and started snoring pretty much straight away. So that
no shit, big tired beer.
Yeah. But yeah, I was feeling pretty tired and emotional on that flight, I can tell you.
One thing I did learn from a weekend with you, Fonz, it's no accident you know as much about the game as you do, and you're as clever as you are talking about the game. You fucking love the game. You watch. I've never seen anyone watch it so intently. It's quite impressive. I was sitting there next to you. I was like, holy shit, this is why he knows so much. You actually love it. It's insane. It's cool, bro. That's one Brad thing that I learned about you while I was away.
4 liters of Coca-Cola and brown liquor will have you pretty hyper-focused, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no, it was fucking good. It was great, actually. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm a little bit weary about doing another one anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe we'll do every second.
I'm retiring from those kinds
like that hoodie that you dumped on the deck. Yeah. That was you walking out. Fonz chucking in his leather jacket.
Yeah, it was symbolic,
man. I'm handing him my youth.
Oh,
oh, rad. Oh, shit. Oh, well.
We had a good win that night. We had a good win that night, and we've come away with another win since then. 15-14 over the Dragons. Bit ugly, bit scrappy. Good start. Painful second half for the most part. Somehow got over the line. Luke Metcalf doing it at both ends of the game. And another 2 points. Outright second. 7-2 for just the third time in our history. Things are going pretty bloody well. Even if we're sort of still playing, slightly better than middle of the road.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
It's definitely the year of 2 points is 2 points so far, isn't it? We're scratching some ugly.
For everyone, though. It was a crazy round up to that, like Friday, Saturday. Wild games, big comebacks. Crazy match-winning plays.
We got pretty pumped with. We got knocked around a bit injury-wise that first half. Dragons are a niggly team too. Once they get a little confident, because they just throw the ball anywhere. They don't seem to care for what they're doing out there. But every now and then the dude outside them catches it. So they're a niggly team when they get a roll on. I don't know. What, Fonzie, how bad was that game? I wasn't enjoying it very much. Yeah.
Yeah, we started okay. But then I thought once we racked a bit of a lead up, we probably took our foot off the pedal a little bit. I just thought we started going a bit more sideways, probably weren't running as hard and straight. So there was that. I reckon their bench coming on changed the game. I thought their bench was excellent. So DeBella and I can't remember who else it
Pacifica
was now,
Tonga.
Yeah. It swung the game a little bit their way. Look, I mean, they're just not a good style match for us. So they're this big, clunky, sort of awkward team, and our sort of grind it down style tends to struggle against those sort of bigger, more power game teams. So once they got a bit on a roll and we started making a few, errors here and there and lost our rhythm, didn't surprise me. We struggled against them. You remember last year, you probably talked about it. I can't remember if you talked about it in the pod last week, but last year they blew us off the park, right?
Yeah, it was a disgusting game.
And it was similar, actually, because we got out to 12-0 in that game too, and then just got steamrolled. Whereas this looked like something similar was going to happen, but we sort of stemmed the tide once it got to 14.
Yeah, exactly. Like that big team with big centers and big back rowers and stuff, they eventually wear us down, the way we play, I think. So, yeah, all those things sort of happen. But I thought in the second half we were headless chooks. Like we just lost our way. It was, people want to give Metcalf a rap for kicking that clutch field goal, and so they should. Like as in, he was steady and he just slotted it. But the reality is our halves did not control the game in second half very well at all. to the point where we had Barnett doing chips and chases and all sorts of stuff
on the fourth.
Yeah. Like that tells you where the game was at.
Yeah.
So I thought it was probably our worst performance other than the Raiders in round one, if I'm honest, and maybe Melbourne. Hard to say.
Yeah, they seem to slow down taking. I reckon that they changed their attitude and their play a little bit as soon as they started opting for the 2 for the penalty instead of there was times where they just opted for 2 instead of taking instead of going for a try. It's like, oh, this is going to be an easy. Let's just
sit on our lead.
Points. Yeah.
And I think
another thing I took away, how glad are you that Luciano ain't in the Warriors team? What's his last name? Leilua. God, he's an idiot player. I'd hate to have him.
Frustrating.
Yeah.
Plenty of there goes. There you go. There's your compressor. It's finally come on during the pod. First time. Penalties as well, just sort of stuff that we haven't really seen that much of this year. With our high percentage style of play, just cheap high tackle penalties, got them rolling in the second half, and then they were just absolutely peppering Dallin's wing. And Dallin looked every bit like he hasn't played in 3 months. He was just trying to get in passing channels and jumping up and down. It was Brad in our, as I said in the player ratings, Brad said in our text chain with Mike Minogue, looks like a cat chasing a laser pointer, and it was it's what it was punishing to watch. And he come up with an error out the back, and you're like, Jesus, we love Dallin, but geez, he can pull out a performance like that.
The problem is it comes from he's trying to do too much, He's thinking he's trying
lazy.
to do the big play all the time. He's overworking almost. He just needs to fucking chill out, bro, and just sit back there. He needs a shock collar. Put a shock collar on him.
Here we go. Staying with this domestic animal theme, Brad.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But but again, 2 points, and when you've seen all those comebacks over the weekend to get run down, but then steady yourself and get the win. Another sort of kick in their column of a growing team, I think. Away win, so valuable. So, you got to be pretty happy with the 2 points.
Definitely.
Back into the season, this is going to be probably what we thank this period of shit play and scratching wins together.
Yeah. Standout players, boys, I think, I'm just looking at the Kingz Container Crew, great sponsors of this Warriors Life podcast, had 8s for Luke Metcalf on the strength of his outstanding start, solo try assist, and match-winning field goal. Wade Egan, I thought, was outstanding. 50 tackles, really picked the Dragons apart in the first half, but quieter in the second. Mitch Barnett, massive performance, 190 meters on 20 runs, 48 tackles, which is huge for a front rower. 65-minute effort. Good statement for the New South Wales selectors. And Aaron Clark again. I mean, man, what a buy! 52 tackles. Like he is putting up Tohu numbers now. 65 minutes or so, 162 meters, 52 tackles. Growing as a ball player. I don't know, you probably got a bit more of insight on this, Fons, watching what he does in the middle, and that involvement for Metcalf's try, but loving what he's doing there. And they were my 3 8s for the week.
Hard to argue. To argue. I mean, he is like we've said it every week for 5 weeks or something now. He's the buy of the year. He's still he's definitely more of a run first player than like a Walker was. But that kind of suits us. Like we're probably at a place where Egan's just trying to get ball out of dummy half to give Metcalf and Serge decent width, on later tackles, and we use Clark more sort of running angles in behind or out off the ruck to sort of set up and go from there. So it's like he's not playing like Walker, he's not playing like Tor, he's doing his own thing, but it's just damn effective. And he is sucking up a lot of the work that Fish would have been doing.
Yeah. That second half when they said Aaron Clark comes back onto the field, I felt a little bit of relief that we were going to gain some control back in that half, because he was missing that.
Yeah, well, he was only off for 9 minutes.
Yeah, so that's the first time in his career of like, yes, Clark's back on.
Boys again.
Yeah.
Nah, we got you there, Fonz.
Yeah, you're a bit shaky there, mate, but carry on. Another just on that 7.5 level, I have to mention him every week. Lika Halasima, another 80-minute effort. Geez, I'm almost loved these last 2 weeks more than the destructive stuff. So busy, so into it, just so hungry to go after the game. I absolutely love him. And, he's got that Cisco / Coco Beware hairdo. He's just got everything, this guy.
He had a great, it's nice knowing that he's got he can just grunt out a couple of games. He doesn't feel like he needs to be doing something crazy every game. I thought Valmonga had, apart from a little era, that I was stoked to see him out in some open air just to give him some. I think he just needs a bit of confidence. I think he hasn't realized how strong and good he is yet.
Yeah.
Almost.
He's there to stay. 111 meters, 29 tackles. He was on there for 39 minutes, I think. But yeah, I thought he made a.
He carries the ball a little bit loose and sometimes up there, which gives me the nerves. But 9 times out of 10, he's holding on to it. He does carry a ball a little loose. Did we end up losing Fonz there in the end?
Yeah, I don't know. We've lost his graphic. So
you've got me. You've got me.
Oh yeah.
You are there. Sorry, we've lost. Yeah, we've just got this pulsating profile thing now there.
It's
no, you kept crashing on me, so I'm trying without my cam on to see if that helps.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were buffing until you jumped back in there. You were there the whole time.
Yeah. No, all good. Any more thoughts on that, boys? Is that where you just need to, be thankful for the 2 points and move on from it? One thing I did want to ask, actually, Fonz, you talked a lot about the sort of the halves combination in the Cowboys game. It was more like they were playing almost like 2 halfbacks, or Chanel was even, if anything, more the halfback. How did you view that sort of balance in that game?
I thought in the second half we were playing with no halfback. Was more the issue. Probably more of the same. I think we genuinely got 2 6.5s. You know what I mean? Like neither's really a 6, neither's really a 7. They're both about 6.5. The way they're sharing the load and playing, and that's good because I think that's the best way to get the most out of each of them. Don't make one be what they're not. Just like play to the strengths that they each have.
Yeah, I like what's growing there with the 2 of them at the moment.
It's doing enough.
It's nice. They are doing enough. Like they do go missing, but they're still fine. Of course, they go missing. It'd be pretty tough doing it week in, week out, and be hard not to be a deer stuck in the lights sometimes as a young buck like that running a team, wouldn't it? So, yeah, no, I'm not as a few weeks ago. If you had asked me, I'd probably be making some changes, but I think it's pretty tough on Martin and Boyd at the moment because they've got no real right to be making it into that first grade team.
You can't
those 2 halves.
Jimmy Wilson's posed an interesting question here on the 7 chat. Why the Aussies pumping Metcalf so much? The league media, I mean, and I kind of agree. Like, obviously, I wasn't super overwhelmingly impressed until the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Cowboys game was a breakout. Had some big moments last week. I feel like he's really taking the game on now. But the Aussie media are crazy about him. I interviewed a former player for Big League today and was just chatting about the Warriors, off the record in general. And he's like, Metcalf this, Metcalf that, next superstar kind of thing. It's like, oh.
Is that because they just watch highlights of Warriors games?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it is interesting. It's kind of like the Tamati Martin factor.
Do you see it over there, Fonz, in the press?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like he's the talking point. I mean, look, part of it is because he's wearing SJ's jersey, so everyone who's doing lazy or shallow analysis is just going to look at that, right? I do think it's partly because he's an Aussie and he's played at other clubs like Cronulla and Manly, so he's kind of known to their fan bases a bit, so that sort of gives him some attention. But yeah, I do like, and he's supposedly a good-looking dude, and these the young, fresh face.
I mean, we can't talk, but he's pretty pale, eh, Brad? He makes us look tanned.
Yeah, he's got like he's had I don't know what, I can't think of glandular fever. Yeah, those dudes that drop like 80 kilos because they got glandular fever, never the same human again. But yeah, are we over, because it's our team, are we being that much harder on him where we should be stepping back a little bit and looking what he's actually done so far for us? Is that part of it as well?
Yeah, what I reckon is, like if you look at who's contributing the most to our wins and who's adding value to our performances, Luke's not number one. But if you look across the comp, like what skills are the rarest in the league, right? It kind of is someone who can step up and kick you the winning goal or the field goal, or it is someone who can break an edge open with just a turn of pace or a great ball. Like there's not a lot of good sevens out there. There's not a lot of good halves out there. So maybe it's a bit of that too. Like we look at who were our best players who helped us win this game, you know, all the different components of the game. But when you're just looking across the league, it's like how many players can do what he can do? Very few. It's a rarer thing. You know what I mean? Like there's more players who can do what Barnett can do than probably can do some of the things Lukey can do. So maybe that's what it is. He does have a rare set of skills in the game.
And each of these little boxes he ticks along the way must be doing wonders for his confidence and his own ability. It's got, like, I know he's missing for 20 minutes, but for that kid, he's walked away knowing he iced a field goal to win the game. That's another little boost. It's going to,
I'll come to that in a second and how rare that is for a player that's not Shaun Johnson, the Warriors team. But just firstly, the tries that he's scoring, you know, he's scored a few earlier in the season. They're all just backing up like support play, and he wasn't really taking on the line. Now he is. The tries that he scored in the last couple of weeks have been, you know, because he's backed himself and taken the line on. And, you know, we saw early in the Newcastle game how he dummied him and shot through. I thought that was kind of a real turning point in his season. But on his try spree, 6 tries in the Warriors' last 6 games. So that's 7 for the season so far. Equals 6th in the NRL. Yeah, equals 6th in the NRL. Only halfback with more than 4 in the competition this season. He's on track at this stage to set a new record for most tries in the season by Warriors halfback. That's currently held by Stacey Jones, who scored 15 in 1999. Beyond that, we've had Shaun Johnson with 12 in 2012. Jones, Ravelli, and Johnson twice have got 10 in a season. And then so he's creeping up on those sort of guys. And you back him to catch Stacey at this stage.
We need to get off his back.
Yeah, but
kid's playing well.
He's got heaps more to work on, and you know the halfback stuff he needs to do. But geez, it's a luxury to have someone doing that sort of thing. And also just on that field goal, I mean, it was a match winner. He's only the 16th player ever to kick a field goal for the Warriors. And, you know, it's just all Johnson and Jones in our history with a few sprinkled around. He's the only Warriors player other than Shaun Johnson to kick a field goal since 2021. So, yeah, I mean, we saw it last year when Johnson
had a few goals. We've had a few goes. Jeez, how many did we miss last season? Fuck.
Yeah, that Bulldogs golden pointer, it was a shocker. We're like, no one wanted it. And
this is Rock Boys, yeah. Jesus.
I don't quite think he's up there as far as, you know, where this says he should be, but he's equal third in the Dally M's. And now I think, you know, he's starting to actually earn some of these votes the last couple of weeks. So he got some real cheap like highlights votes earlier in the year, but yeah, he's earning them now. But I did want to bring up the Dally M's because this is really weird. So he got 3 votes from one judge. I can cop that. Aaron Clark got 3 votes from the other.
Okay.
Each judge didn't give the other player any. Yeah. So and Mitch Barnett got 2 from both, and then Dragons players picked up the 1 vote from each judge. So it's all over it's a total lottery.
There's no world where Metcalf should have got 3 points in that game.
Isn't it a shame it isn't realistic? You know what I mean? Almost taking Supercoach scores or something. Why isn't it realistic? Why isn't it better telegraphed? Because it's a shame, because we should be celebrating the best person in the thing. And every year it's always an argument, or he shouldn't have won,
And it's got worse since it's been 2 judges per game. I think it's got way more skewed, because when they do kind of get it right and someone gets 6, then they just shoot off. And yeah, anyway. almost teamless Tuesday time, boys. I've actually got no idea what we've got coming up.
How long?
Teamless back, like 1 minute.
What do you think, Fonz?
There's
a couple of injuries. What do you?
So maybe we've got it on delay. I can't see it on NRL.com here. But yeah, it's a interesting one. Obviously, here we go. So just watch me very slickly bring that up for you, as always. Bear with me.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man, how do I do this again? Righto. There we go. Smooth as. What do we got?
There's some stuff here.
Whoa, okay.
I've been trying to
take you through 1 to 17. Chance Nickel Klodstad at fullback. Dallin Watini Zalesniak contained to a picky on the wings. Adam Pompey and Kirk Capewell. So we've got the exact same back five. Harris, DeVito, and Metcalf in the halves. James Fisher Harris. Only 4 games, I think. 4 games missed with that pec injury. Great to have him back. Wade Egan and Mitch Barnett in the front row. Hala Seaman, Nukore Clark, the starting back row. Interchange. Tamate Martin, Jacob Laban, Dimitri Vaimonga, and Sam Healy. Interesting to see Martin and Healy both on that bench. Wouldn't think that is the way that it's going to stay. But, yeah, I guess the big headline, JFH back.
JFH back. Rog, who's supposed to be available, named in the extended bench. The injury list said that he was supposed to be available this week. So last week they put him through a fitness test, I think 3 days out, and he failed. So I'm guessing they'll do the same this week. They'll put him through a fitness test 3 days out. So if he passes that test, then there'll be a backline change, you'd think. And he either takes Tane's spot or there's a whole big rejig that happens where Tane goes to fullback, Chance goes to centre, et cetera. So I reckon there'll be a change there. And then,
can I just throw a third option that he goes to centre, Roger goes straight to centre, and
could do that.
And then Capewell back into the pack, New Corday to the bench.
You could do that. Yep, you definitely could do that. I feel like that's not something Webby would do, but he could. And then in the front row, that doesn't, I mean, like you said, Will, I doubt it's Temara and Healy on the bench there. So something's going to give there. I feel like one of them will give way for another forward. Or if Rog comes in and moves Capes back to the middles, back to the edge, then, maybe one of them gives way for Murata back onto the bench. I don't know. I feel like there's going to be quite a bit of change here. But putting Healy in 17s is...
Oh, did we lose him?
Right at the...
Yeah. Putting Healy at 17. Can you just finish that off, Brad? Putting Healy in 17 is...
probably a bit of a backup just in case they don't fly all of them to the second one on Friday. Yeah.
So we got in this bloody Dolphins team. I'll just run through it 1 to 17 while we wait for Fonz to come back. Hamaso, Tabuai Fido, just Jermaine Asako, Jack Bodstock on the wings, Averillo and Farnworth in centres, Nikarima Katoa in halves. Francis Molo starting with Kalfusi up front, Kurt Donahoe as your hooker, Finney Fuyaki and Tom Gilbert, Ray Stone in the back row. He's gone completely Fonz, dished us. Interchange, Harrison Graham, Mark Nichols, Josh Kirk, Connolly Lemielu. So they arrested a 2-game slide with a 20-16 win over the Eels last week. Entertaining game on Thursday night. No changes to the squad. So as is, they're a dangerous team, the Dolphins.
They scare me. They're better than where they sit on the table, I reckon, the Dolphins.
They're up and down.
I don't know what went on with them at the start of the season, but they seem to be, I reckon if you delete, probably in my memory anyway, people will probably prove me wrong when they look back on the data, but they seem to start real slow this year. And when they 9-3 or something stupid like that. So if you look at delete that from it, they're actually been going all right, traveling all right the last wee while. Close as well in losses.
Yeah, I think they had a loss to the Roosters and I forget who else actually. And then so after that 4-game winning streak where they smashed up Melbourne from 14-0 down and absolutely towed them. So that
and then
shows
they come
the
back
kind of
from
points
against the Titans as well. Didn't they flog up the Titans from behind as well?
Yeah,
yeah, they're a scary team. They can put points on real quick. We have got a defensive fucking beast. I know Dallin was chasing shadows out there a little bit, but he was just trying to come back and make a difference. I think in Dallin's defense, he's a great player. You're going to have one or two. It's just a shame in the weekend there was 5 or 6 fucking glaring errors. But you can take 1 or 2 when he's doing the other stuff. He just needs to chill out and just go through the process and just charge the ball back up. I love that part of the game being back.
Yeah, and he was fine in that besides one error. Didn't really get any chances on attack. Chan's absolutely.
Chill out, bro.
Chan's
What's up with your mate, man? He's fucking... Imagine you being his mates at parties growing up. Fuck, bro, what's up with your mate? He's fucking wired, man. Oh, Dell, he's all good. Dell's all good, man.
No, you just got to get to know him.
he's chill. Yeah, once you get to know him, bro, he's sweet. But
Fons has been chucked out by the bouncers and he's trying to get back in. What do you think? Do you think we give him another chance?
They're my orthopedic shoes. I can't wear anything else. I haven't got nicer shoes.
Have we got your Fons?
Yeah, mate, you do. I actually reckon.
Jesus Christ, are you with a fucking styrofoam cup and a string?
You've been kidnapped. No. Are you in the boot of a car?
I reckon my work's wised up and has actually blocked the site so that I can't do this from work anymore. So I'm just on my phone down the corridor. So you might not get much good out of me from here on in, but just wanted to check back in.
That's all right. Do you want me to give your boss a call tomorrow, Fons? I can iron this out.
Could you?
Iron it out, yeah. No, he doesn't do much else. I always get him doing my shit like that. He ordered me some doors today for a job I've got going on.
Yeah. No one messes with my boys.
Sweet. Yeah, it literally sounds like you're in the boot of a car. Are you sure you're okay? Pineapple?
I'm in a filing
Pineapple? Pineapple?
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow. Where were you anyway?
Well, I was going to give a shout out to our table-topping New South Wales Cup team. 46-30. They've beaten Canberra last week. They're absolutely flying, racking up the points. Freddie Lussick with a hat trick within 19 minutes. Against the Raiders. In Wollongong, that was for some. Oh, I guess it was because the Warriors were playing down there. Poor old Raiders getting dragged all over the state. But yeah, man, how good to have a team top of the table New South Wales Cup. A lot of guys going
pretty
well.
Healthy for the club, isn't it?
Yeah, second and first. How good? Who would have thought we'd be here? Certainly not in the NRL.
Because you look at other teams in trouble. Rabbitohs, like when you just tally up, because it used to have that, didn't they? What they call that when it was
the club championship.
Club championship. Yeah. When you actually tallied the points between you and the reserve grade, it meant something.
Yeah.
If I still play that in my mind, and Jesus, the Knights and the Rabbitohs are in a little bit of trouble, looks like, in the foreseeable future.
They have much depth to call upon.
No, none at all. It's out of it.
We've got also Mix and Pick. Been a bit slack on this lately, but obviously we love our brothers at Mix and Pick and the great work that they do, putting out that game, getting you guys t-shirts every week. Last week's winner, Mel B. I don't know if it was the Spice Girls.
Jesus, Spice Girls. No shit.
Yeah. Another t-shirt available this week. If you don't want to take your chances on the Mix and Pick game, go to thiswarriorslife.digitees.co.nz. Get your own merch like this sort of clobber here. And also, if you're into a bit of the football, the A-League, Auckland FC, the story of the season.
Boo.
This week's game. You should be supporting our Mount Smart brethren. Giving away
from a stairwell in Sydney.
Yeah. From some JBL headphones on the Auckland FC game this week. So get amongst that. They got a semi-final this weekend. Huge occasion for the fledgling club. Early predictions. Bookies have
and we need to support them. They share a stadium with the Warriors. So if they're doing well, it's only going to do well for the Warriors, and maybe there can be upgrades and improvements to that stadium if they both fucking make it a fortress. That's my thinking. I hope they do well and spend some money for us.
Now,
are they sponsoring the show here?
Who? Auckland FC?
No, mix and pick, not Auckland FC. No, we're still on mix and pick. I digress.
In that case, I just want to say I hope they go insolvent.
Oh man, so better. What a curmudgeon. Jeez, I thought you've been pretty. You've been pretty positive so far, Fonz, but
draws the line at football,
almost made
obviously.
it. Almost,
we've found a
almost
boundary.
made it, yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their boundaries, man. That's all good. We're all different.
Speaking of TAB sponsors of the podcast, they're finding it very hard to split the Dolphins and the Warriors this week. Warriors at $1.87, just favourites. I imagine the Aussie bookies have it the other way around, but yeah, should be a bit of a thriller. Total points 48.5. Could see a few points scored, I think, this weekend, boys.
What do you reckon, Fonz? We were talking about when it dropped off. How do you feel going into this one? What's the result?
I watched the Dolphins up at Magic Round, and a couple of other times. They don't like to grind the way we do. You know, they probably play a bit more unstructured, more sort of old school footy in a way, and I think we might find that troubling. Yeah. So I don't like the style match for us, and I reckon we might be getting a bit fatigued from a lot of games having had quite a bit of travel and a lot of tight games where we're hanging on. So this is probably a game where I'd have the Dolphins as favourites, I think, if I was just
fair.
doing a line. But, we're in it to our eyeballs. But can we beat it? We absolutely can. But I feel like last week was a banana skin game where we managed to hang on. This week might be a game where we're sort of struggling to get to the line.
I still get nervous around quick teams. I don't know if the Warriors game plan and the way we like to play, like quick Titans scare me still. Like just those quick across the park teams make me nervy because they can just blow you away. Quick smart.
They do a fair bit of their attack from like around their own 40, putting on plays, and Nikodema has just gone to a level we didn't know he had. I think the Dolphins Katoa is really improving, and then you got the hammer and Osako Farmworth's close to the best center in the game. Plenty of game breakers. I think we've got them covered in the forwards, but tough one. And as you said, Fonz, it's a really good point. So much travel since March 21st. Geez, that sounds like a long time ago. The win over the Roosters. We've played at Mount Smart once, and during that period, we've been to Campbelltown, we've been to Melbourne, we've been to Christchurch, been to Brisbane, Wollongong, and now Brisbane again. That's a pretty punishing schedule. It's almost 2 months ago.
It seems criminal.
What's the NRL stitching us up again? But
let's come back.
We've managed to win all but one of those games in Melbourne. So keep grinding away, boys, and hopefully we can pick up another 2 points. We've got 4 weeks to the bye. It's a really tough run, actually. Raiders at home, Souths in Sydney, Cronulla in Sydney, and then we've got buys either side of a home game against Penrith and an away game against Brisbane. So we're sitting pretty at 7-2, but it can all turn.
It's a tough wee period coming up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think I looked at the ladder or the draw early on, picked this as a period where we could potentially stack a few. Now the next little lineup of games. Shit, we'll be happy that we've got the points we have, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good start and such a good platform, but I think
because it's going to be
going to need it. I don't think we're going to finish with a 20-win, 4-loss record at the end of the season. I think these wins we've picked up are going to be pretty valuable as far as squeaking into the finals or maybe staying up around the top 4, top 6.
Yeah.
Hey, did you boys talk about one of the comments there saying our points differential's only +1?
Yes.
Are we pretenders? Did you talk about that?
No, we didn't, and I'll just check it up. But have at it, Fonz.
Well, yes, we are pretenders right now in the sense that we're not the second best team in the comp. I don't think.
No,
agree.
We're a team that's sitting in that mid-tier pack who's jagged some wins. Right, that's the truth, right? But the difference between us and a lot of the teams that are in that mid-tier pack is that we said from the start of the year that if this team was going to do something, it was going to back end the year, right? So we were going to probably muddle through the first half of the year and come good in the second half of the year as the spine had time to gel. Some of these young blokes who were on the threshold of first grade actually came through, and like your Halves and others. Now that's all happened a bit sooner than we thought. So I think the spine is starting to gel. Those young guys are delivering first grade level performances, and so we're actually going to get to the halfway point with more points in the bank than we thought, and further along that journey. Yeah, ahead of schedule. So. Are we pretenders at the moment? Well, we're not as good as where we sit on the ladder, right? But are we pretenders? Well, I don't know about that. I think this has got 2023 vibes around it this season, and I don't see any reason why we can't back end the year and finish quite strong. So I'm not saying we deserve to be second, but it also wouldn't shock me if we do end up top four from this point, because we've got some points in the bank, and I think we're going to get a lot better as we go. So yeah, that's my sense of it.
And one aspect, obviously, last year we lost so many close games. We gave away a lot of double-digit leads. In our last 6 games, we've won 4 of them by 4 points or less. So it's such a turnaround from last year. Maybe that's just one play that changes everything, and your luck sort of swings with those close results. That's kind of the theory, but it is such a great quality to be able to close out those close games, especially when we were so dreadful at it last year.
Yeah, and I still think our roster is probably a bottom 6 or 7 roster.
Yeah,
So
that's the amazing thing.
Yeah, so what's happening here is another outstanding coaching effort from Webby, right, and the team, where he's getting this roster to play above itself, and they're playing like a team that's more than the sum of their parts. That's
which
what's
was
happening
2023 to a T, really. I guess
Exactly.
if you take the Johnson factor out, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're seeing here. So we shouldn't sit here and go, our body of work deserves to be second, but we should be sitting here going, the coaches nailed it. The boys are playing as a team, and they're likely to improve. So even if we have bagged a couple here, there's a good reason. I think there's plenty more to come.
Yeah, sick. Nice.
Well
I like that. I really like that, Fonz. Well said.
Geez, that just about do us. Our foray back into live podcasting. It's been a wee while, and we're a bit rusty, but I think we got there in the end. Thanks everyone for jumping in. About time for dinner. About time for Fonz to do a last little burst at work before he gets on the train.
Before they shut off his internet again.
Go and talk to my head of IT and blow him up about this.
Drag him across his table by his tie. You bastard.
Don't you know who I am? Yeah.
Got to get real here.
Awesome. Oh, well, boys, good to see you, or good to speak to you, Fonz, and good to catch up.
Yeah, outstanding.
Cheers, boys.
Back, Fonz.
Later,
Thanks,
Fonz.
Kingz Container Crew, everyone out there, Patreons, TAB, Frank Podcasts, and until next time, look after yourselves and each other.
This is a Frank Podcast.